Hour with breaking news. The United States has just struck 2 Iranian-linked locations in eastern Syria. That, the U.S. says, is in retaliation for attacks against U.S. personnel. A new statement from Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin says that these were what the U.S. is calling self-defense strikes. They describe them as precision self-defense strikes against 2 facilities in eastern Syria. These are against what the U.S. officials describe as Iranian-backed forces, Iranian-backed attacks against U.S. forces. And the statement from Secretary Austin says they are unacceptable and must stop. Iran wants to hide its hand and deny its role in these attacks against our forces. We will not let them. Joining us on the phone is Gabe Gutierrez from Washington, who has been following this for us. He is senior White House correspondent. Gabe, thank you so much for being with us on such short notice. What do we know at this hour about these strikes and what they may mean about the U.S.'s military posture in that region?
Oh, hi there, Jake. Well, as you said, the statement coming out just a short time ago from the Defense Secretary, and it comes as the U.S. military, there have really been rising tensions in the region over the war in Israel. And the Defense Secretary called the attacks separate and distinct from that ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. But the reality, Jake, is that as tensions have been rising in the region, there has been an uptick in these types of attacks against U.S. facilities. And while the U.S. has said that it does not believe that Iran was directly responsible or gave the green light for the Hamas terrorist attack against Israel, it has been saying that Iran is broadly complicit for funding Hamas and also other proxies really throughout the region. And President Biden has repeatedly warned other actors throughout the region not to exploit this situation. So, again, this comes, at a time, between October 17th and the 24th, U.S. and coalition forces were attacked at least 10 separate times in Iraq, 3 times in Syria, by a mix of drones and rockets, according to the Pentagon. And on October 18th, at least 2 one-way attack drones targeted a military base in southern Syria. And on the same day, there were also 2 separate drone attacks against U.S. and coalition forces stationed at a U.S. base in western Iraq. So, again, these launched strikes come as retaliation for that, basically warning Iran and its proxies to back off, Jake.
And Gabe, in the statement from Secretary Austin, he specifically mentions the attacks you are describing, that series of attacks in Iraq and Syria, and it specifically, of course, names Iran as the backer of the proxy forces that it says carried out these attacks. It also, his statement also mentions the U.S. personnel, one of whom died of a cardiac event while taking shelter during one of the attacks. It was unrelated to the actual danger from the attacks, other than that it happened contemporaneously with it. And then it mentions that 21 U.S. personnel suffered minor injuries, but all have since returned to duty. Considering just how much death and destruction we have been looking at around the Israel-Hamas war, it is striking to me, and I wonder what you make of this, just how fiercely the United States seems to be striking.
Devils ain't seen death and destruction yet.
Back in response to something that has, even it says in its statement here, involves minor injuries. What does that suggest to you about the level of tolerance the U.S. has for violence directed at its personnel and its facilities in the region?
Well, look, that statement does describe it as minor.
And notice I'm scrolling through all the comments, and these individuals, comment boards, scared, man. All right, Hey, we've been telling you, the prophet's been telling you, now it's not a joke anymore. Let me go to this one. All right, I know this right here. All right, from this individual right here, Rex Mundy, says, I'm terrified of World War III. That said, sometimes decisive early action can keep things from spiraling. All right, but hey, this thing is spiraled out of control already. All right, for the sake of prophecy, man. And we've been warning y'all, hey, the prophet's been warning, all right, that America's going to enter a third, or the world pretty much is going to enter a third world's nuclear war, man. And now it's becoming reality, all right, because America, a.k.a. Babylon, has effed up, man. As you see the title, they have attacked they have hit two Syrian facilities in self-defense strikes, and that was Iran. That was dealing with Iran. They struck Iran's facilities, man. All right, so it's on now, man. It definitely ain't no turning back now, man. All right, let me play some more.
Injuries, but at least some of those were reported to be traumatic brain injuries. So some discussion about how minor they are. In fact, Jake, this is something that for the past several days we've been hearing just kind of more stronger talk from the White House, and even just earlier today, National Security Spokesman John Kirby. I'm reading, looking through a transcript really quickly, and he basically said we're going to do what we have to do to protect troops in our facilities, and he basically said that as commander-in-chief, that's the president's decision to make, and he'll make it in a quote time and manner of his own choosing. So that statement came just several hours ago, perhaps telegraphing what the president may the decision he was about to make. And again, we're just now getting the statement from the defense secretary that in fact U.S. military forces conducted what are described, the statement says, as self-defense strikes on those two facilities in eastern Syria. So certainly huge developments, but potentially this, has larger implications for the future of...
It is coming. The people don't want to say. The prophets want it. Hey, we've been waiting. We've been anticipating moments like this, man. Prophetic moments like this, and now it's here, man. Hey, the Lord is getting ready to decimate America, man. Hey, it's over for this place, man. All right, so it's only a matter of time before the economy collapses and this devil, all right, gets this MOCB rolling and make it mandatory. And after that, the Lord crack those clouds and get his elect the fuck up out of here and destroy America.
The Israel-Hamas conflict, even though the statement says that this is separate and distinct from that, but this does not happen in a vacuum, Jake. Tensions across the region are extremely high, and the Biden administration is really scrambling to prevent this from becoming a wider war. That's why they, sent those carrier strike groups to the region, and over the last several days, we've been hearing about these increased attacks on U.S. and coalition forces. So, in some sense, it was a matter of time between when those attacks were happening against U.S. forces in the region and when the U.S. would have to respond. The question now is, how does Iran respond to this? And does this risk a further escalation, given that tensions are already so high between Israel, Hamas, and also the concerns about the growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, but now does this develop into a wider war, which the Biden administration has said that it certainly wants to avoid.
Senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joining us now. Again, U.S. forces have struck two facilities in eastern Syria in what it describes as a self-defense action in retaliation for repeated strikes against U.S. military personnel and facilities in Iraq and Syria. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about...
All right, let me get a script. Let me end it off with this. Let me get this scripture real quick. I'm gonna close out. All right, breaking news again. U.S. Has hit or bombed Iranian facilities in Syria. All right, let me get Ezekiel, because y'all gonna know that we're the prophets, man. Okay. Let me see. Is it matter of fact, Salakia? I think it's 31 and. No, 33 and 31. And we've been telling y'all, like I said, we've been warning y'all about, all right, the third world's nuclear war. Now we're officially in that, man. All right, so this is Ezekiel 33 and 33, straight to the point. It says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. So World War III has definitely come to pass, man. All right, the third world's nuclear war, and pretty soon the MOTB, all right, it's not far behind for being made mandatory, because it's already here. It's already at the door. All right, all they need is that major event, that major psyop false flag, and then hey, it's a wrap. So that's what we waiting for, man. All right, so with that, I'm gonna close out. All right, by saying all praises and glorifications goes to Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, that great meals from well, peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of earth, preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. Say Shalom, Kum Yashala, and the Bible ball. Shalom.